In this video, you will learn about all major deaths in solo leveling. The Monarch of White Flames, a demon named Baran. His appearance was terrifying, massive and muscular with gray skin, glowing white eyes, and flame-like white hair. 4 horns crowned his head, and his tail and heavy armor completed his demonic image. Later, when recreated as the final boss of the demon castle, he appeared with red eyes and no helmet. Baran was cruel and hot-headed. He feared nothing, not even death, standing his ground against the Shadow Monarch despite the vast difference in power. Until the very end, he refused to reveal his intentions. He was a true warrior, despising weakness and defeat. As one of the 9 monarchs, Baran possessed immense power. His blows could stagger even JinWoo, and his speed and endurance rivaled that of other monarchs. He wielded lightning breath, capable of stunning enemies and used both for AoE devastation or concentrated strikes. He could also summon his demonic army directly from hell. In the end, after betraying Ashbourne and refusing to explain his actions, Baran met his demise. Mocking his former ally with a meaningless gibberish, he sealed his own fate. Enraged by the betrayal, Ashbourne crushed Baran's skull with a single hand, ending the life of someone he had once fought beside. Later, as the rulers arrived, Ashbourne draped his cape over Baran's lifeless body, absorbing him into his shadow, a final, silent farewell to a fallen ally. Hwang Dongsuk, a C-rank tank and the older brother of Hwang Dongsoo, was a selfish hunter who attempted to murder JinWoo and Yu Jinho for quick cash. His greed and arrogance ultimately led to his gruesome end. Hwang Dongsuk was a stocky, muscular man with a scarred left arm and a ruthless personality. Much like his brother, he was selfish, arrogant, and had little regard for innocent lives. He was quick to give up when faced with a stronger opponent, as seen when he begged for his life after JinWoo overpowered him. Despite his flaws, he had a sense of loyalty to his homeland and resented his brother's betrayal of their people for money. Hwang Dongsuk's abilities as a C-rank tank made him a formidable opponent for lower-tier hunters. He was a skilled swordsman, wielding both a sword and shield in combat. His taunt ability allowed him to magically induce weaker opponents to attack him without thinking, giving him an edge in battle. Additionally, he could temporarily enhance his physical stats, making him stronger and more durable during fights. Hwang's greed led him to target JinWoo and Jinho, but he underestimated JinWoo's growing power. After JinWoo slaughtered Hwang's teammates, he confronted Hwang directly. Despite his attempts to fight back, Hwang was no match for JinWoo's speed and strength. JinWoo beheaded him with his daggers, ending Hwang's life in a brutal display of power. Kang Taeshik, a B-rank assassin and psychopath, was hired to eliminate prisoners during a dungeon raid. Taeshik was a cocky and deceptive individual who lived for the thrill of killing. He viewed hunters as superior to ordinary humans and believed they were above the law. Despite his bloodlust, he was highly motivated by financial gain, often demanding higher fees for challenging targets. Taeshik was also incredibly deceptive, weaving elaborate lies to cover his crimes and catch his opponents off guard. As a B-rank assassin, Taeshik was inhumanly fast, capable of outmatching even buffed opponents like Song Chi-yul. His stealth ability allowed him to camouflage with his surroundings, making him both physically and magically invisible. This made him a deadly opponent in close combat. Additionally, Taeshik was strong enough to clash evenly with JinWoo during their fight, resisting the paralyzing and bleeding effects of Kasaka's Venom Fang. Taeshik's overconfidence led him to underestimate JinWoo. Despite his speed and stealth, JinWoo countered his attacks with precision. When Taeshik unleashed his full power and charged at JinWoo with his stealth skill activated, JinWoo used his bloodlust ability to leave Taeshik wide open. JinWoo then fatally stabbed him in the chest, ending the fight. Before dying, Taeshik acknowledged JinWoo's superiority and warned him about the dark path of pursuing power. Chul, an A-rank hunter from the White Tiger Guild, was a prideful and reckless leader whose poor decisions led to the annihilation of his squad during the Red Gate incident. Chul was an arrogant man who took excessive pride in his skills. He looked down on lower-ranked hunters, mocking them as dead weight. His lack of empathy and poor leadership skills led to the deaths of his entire squad during the Red Gate incident. After witnessing their slaughter, Chul went insane and attacked JinWoo's group, leading to his own demise. As an A-rank hunter, Chul possessed great physical strength and durability. He was able to kill a group of ice bears single-handedly and wield a massive shield with ease. His enhanced strength and durability made him a formidable tank in battle. After his squad was wiped out, Chul stumbled upon JinWoo's group, who had survived due to their preparations. Enraged and unstable, Chul attacked them, but JinWoo easily overpowered him. During the fight with the dungeon boss Baruka, Chul attempted to attack JinWoo from behind, but Igris emerged from JinWoo's shadow and impaled him. JinWoo later resurrected Chul as the Shadow Soldier Iron. Akari Shimizu, Akari Shimizu was an S-rank healer and a member of the Draw Sword Guild. Despite being a healer, she wielded an unusual weapon, a large yellow battle axe, hinting at a side of her that went beyond traditional support roles. Akari had a mischievous and somewhat greedy personality. She valued money above all else, even refusing to heal her teammates unless they paid her first. Though a healer, Akari was not one to jump into battle. During the preparations for the 4th Jeju Island raid, she observed from the sidelines as stronger fighters, like Cha Hai-in, demonstrated their abilities. Once the raid began, she was placed in Team Charlie alongside Kenzo and Tatsumi. She watched from a distance as Kenzo effortlessly slaughtered a swarm of ants, and when he returned injured, she jokingly called him a hot mess and demanded payment for her healing services. Just as she was about to reveal what she truly wanted from him, tragedy struck. She was abruptly decapitated by the Ant King, ending her story in an instant. Kenzo Tanaka was a Japanese S-rank hunter and a proud member of the Draw Sword Guild. Recognized by even Goto Ryuji himself, Kenzo was one of Japan's strongest hunters, known for his fearlessness and brutal fighting style. With his sharp brown hair, muscular frame, and the cross-shaped scar running down the side of his face, Kenzo was a warrior you couldn't mistake on the battlefield. Aggressive and battle-hungry, Kenzo loved the thrill of combat. He often rushed into fights headfirst, relying on his incredible strength and resilience to carry him through. During the 4th Jeju Island raid, he proved his prowess by effortlessly wiping out hordes of ants alone, taking minimal damage. Despite his tough exterior, he shared a friendly bond with Akari, the guild's main healer, tolerating her playful teasing with good humor. However, Kenzo's recklessness would ultimately lead to his downfall. After sustaining injuries during his assault on the ant forces, he returned to Akari for healing. But before Akari could help him, she was suddenly beheaded by the Ant King. Enraged and horrified, Kenzo tried to avenge her, but the Ant King was too fast. Before he could even land a blow, Kenzo too was decapitated, dying instantly on the battlefield. Tatsumi Fujishima was a Japanese S-rank hunter and a trusted member of the Draw Sword Guild. With his messy orange hair, glasses, and freckles under his eyes, Tatsumi had a distinct, approachable appearance that set him apart from his fellow hunters. During the Jeju Island raid, he donned the standard black battle uniform of his guild, ready to face one of the greatest threats humanity had ever encountered. During the 4th Jeju Island raid, Tatsumi was assigned to Team Charlie alongside Akari and Kenzo. Tragically, he witnessed the sudden deaths of both teammates at the hands of the Ant King. Filled with rage, Tatsumi tried to retaliate, rushing the monster with his sword. However, before he could even swing his weapon, the Ant King struck him down, beheading him in an instant. Kei was a Japanese S-rank hunter and a member of the Draw Sword Guild. With his short white hair, striking purple eyes, and the large metallic mask covering his nose and mouth, Kei stood out among his peers. His mask wasn't just for show. Kei's nose was extremely sensitive to mana, forcing him to wear protection during raids to avoid getting sick. During the raid, Kei was paired with Ippei in Team Delta. Together, they quickly overwhelmed the ant forces. However, when communication with Team Charlie went silent, Kei and Ippei were sent to investigate, only to find their comrades' headless bodies. Before they could react, Kei sensed the Ant King's horrifying presence. He tried to protect them by raising a massive wall of ice, but it was no use. The Ant King shattered his defense and killed Kei with a single devastating blow. Mari Ishida. Mari Ishida was a Japanese S-rank hunter and a member of the Draw Sword Guild. She was a short young woman with brown eyes and orange hair styled in a neat bob cut. Mari was a quiet and reserved individual who preferred to stay in the background rather than take center stage. Despite being a damage dealer, she chose not to participate in the sparring matches at the Korean Hunters Gym, instead observing from the sidelines. During the 4th Jeju Island raid, Mari was assigned to Team Alpha alongside Goto and Hoshino. When communication with Teams Charlie and Delta suddenly went silent, they went to investigate, only to find their comrades' headless corpses. This grim discovery set the stage for one of the most brutal moments in the raid, as Matsumoto coldly dismissed the deaths in order to retreat, leaving the Korean hunters to their fate. Disaster struck. The Ant King, the nightmare of Jeju Island, launched a surprise attack, ambushing the team before they could escape. In an instant, Mari was decapitated, her life ending without a chance to fight back. Ippei Izawa was a Japanese S-rank hunter and a member of the Draw Sword Guild. With his sharp features, black hair, and pale skin, he had a cold, distant presence. Typically dressed in a black hoodie with red linings and a skull-like pattern, Ippei later switched to a modified black battle uniform for the Jeju Island raid, keeping his signature hooded look. During the raid, Ippei was paired with Kei in Team Delta. Together, they easily tore through the ant soldiers, confident in their abilities. But before they could send a warning of danger, the Ant King ambushed them. Despite their strength, none of them stood a chance, and Ippei was quickly killed along with his partner. Goto Ryuji was the strongest hunter in Japan and the guild master of the Draw Sword Guild. A handsome and muscular man with shaggy black hair and a neat beard, Goto carried himself with confidence and authority. During the raid, after finding the corpses of his fallen guildmates, Goto revealed that his true goal was to let the Korean hunters die while securing Japan's safety. As he prepared to retreat, the Ant King ambushed them, killing Ishida instantly. Refusing to flee, Goto faced the Ant King head-on, believing in his own strength, but reality was cruel. The Ant King swiftly overwhelmed him and beheaded him without mercy. Byung-Gyu was a Korean S-rank healer and a close friend of Baek Yunho. Byung-Gyu was a kind-hearted and peaceful man who disliked violence. Although he initially retired to become a history teacher, his strong sense of duty led him to join the raid. As an S-rank healer, Byung-Gyu possessed extraordinary healing abilities, able to instantly mend even the gravest wounds, regrow limbs, and enhance his allies with powerful buffs. He also had the ability to turn himself invisible, though he couldn't move while hidden. During the raid, Byung-Gyu played a vital role in supporting his teammates. However, after they killed the Ant Queen, the furious Ant King attacked. Knowing his healing was their only chance, Byung-Gyu used his disguise skill to heal them unseen. Sadly, the Ant King detected him and brutally impaled him from behind. With his final breath, Byung-Gyu screamed for Baek to run before the Ant King devoured his head, killing him instantly and absorbing his powers. Yuri Orloff was a Russian S-rank hunter known for his expertise in support magic, specifically barriers. Upon arriving in Japan, Yuri soaked up the public's praise, confidently assuring everyone that his barriers would protect Tokyo. However, when the S-rank gate finally broke, a colossal giant emerged and effortlessly shattered his shield with a single swing. Panicking, Yuri tried to cast another barrier, but a second giant caught him off guard, tossing him into the air and swallowing him whole, ending his life in an instant. Legia, the monarch of the beginning and king of giants, was a cunning and manipulative ruler who tried to trick JinWoo into freeing him from his prison. Legia had a strange sense of humor and was incredibly deceptive. He nearly succeeded in tricking JinWoo into releasing him by offering an alliance and casting a pledge of trust spell to prevent lies between them. As a monarch, Legia possessed immense strength and magical abilities. His pledge of trust spell was a powerful tool for manipulation, and he could manifest a spiritual body, making him a formidable opponent. JinWoo saw through Legia's lies and discovered the essence stone in his neck. After a brief struggle, JinWoo decapitated Legia, dissolving his body into shards of light and clearing the Tokyo S-rank gate. Hwang Dongsoo, an S-rank hunter and the younger brother of Hwang Dongsuk, sought revenge for his brother's death by targeting JinWoo and Yu Jinho. Dongsoo was a selfish and murderous individual with little respect for human life. He was consumed by overconfidence, believing he could defeat anyone, including JinWoo. Despite his brutal nature, he respected power and was cunning enough to manipulate situations to his advantage. As an S-rank hunter, Dongsoo possessed immense physical strength and speed. He could effortlessly break steel poles and move at incredible speeds. Dongsoo kidnapped Jinho to lure JinWoo into a trap, but JinWoo easily overpowered him. Despite Thomas Andre's intervention, JinWoo refused to spare Dongsoo and later executed him. His shadow was reborn as greed, adding to JinWoo's growing army. Gunhee was a Korean S-rank hunter and the respected chairman of the Korean Hunters Association. Though age had limited his physical capabilities, as the vessel of a ruler, he possessed immense strength, speed, telekinesis through ruler's authority, and could manifest a powerful spiritual body. On the last day of the International Guild Conference, Gunhee stayed late at his office. Suddenly ambushed by Sillad, he realized he stood little chance, but chose to fight bravely to buy time. Although he initially matched Sillad, his aging body soon gave out, and he was fatally stabbed through the chest. In his final act, Gunhee broke the barrier trapping him, allowing a shadow ant to call for JinWoo's help. Though his plan succeeded, Gunhee ultimately succumbed to his wounds, peacefully dying after entrusting JinWoo with humanity's future. Querehsha, the monarch of plagues and queen of insects, was a bloodthirsty ruler who joined Sillad in an attempt to kill JinWoo. Querehsha was a ruthless killer who savored every opportunity to slaughter her prey. Despite her bloodlust, she had a motherly disposition toward her insect minions, treating them as her children. Querehsha's abilities included regeneration, allowing her to heal from injuries almost instantly. She could also manipulate mana to create giant glowing green hands and secrete a deadly toxin. Her necromancy ability allowed her to reanimate and control the dead using parasites. During the battle with JinWoo, Querehsha's arrogance led to her downfall. JinWoo exploited her overconfidence, slicing her in half and reducing her to mincemeat. Despite her regenerative abilities, she was unable to recover from JinWoo's final attack and dissolved into dust. Sungjinwoo, the main protagonist of Solo Leveling, JinWoo found himself in a difficult situation, facing 3 monarchs. Querehsha, Sillad, and Rakan, after the latter had wreaked havoc in Seoul. Although JinWoo grew stronger with each battle and even defeated Querehsha, he was still unprepared for the overwhelming power of the monarchs. JinWoo fiercely fought off their attacks, but it was clear that they were pushing him to his limits. Sillad, using spiritual body manifestation, managed to disorient him long enough for Rakan to strike. The blow proved fatal. Rakan's claws pierced JinWoo's chest from behind, and for a brief moment everything around them went dark. But they had no idea that they had awakened JinWoo to the Shadow Monarch's true powers. Rakan, the Beast Monarch and King of Beasts, was a brutal and arrogant ruler who rampaged through Seoul before facing JinWoo. Rakan was aggressive and scornful toward humans, but he was also a coward who fled when outmatched. Despite his intimidating appearance, he was easily frightened by stronger opponents. Rakan's abilities included immense strength, speed, and durability, making him a formidable opponent. He could also transform into a gigantic white wolf, using his spiritual body manifestation, and had telekinetic control over objects. After rampaging through Seoul, Rakan faced JinWoo in a forest. Despite his attempts to fight back, JinWoo effortlessly killed him in 4 strikes. JinWoo later brought Rakan's teeth to Sillad as proof of his death. Sillad, the monarch of frost and king of snowfolk, was one of the most powerful monarchs who sought to eliminate sungjinwoo before he could fully awaken as the Shadow Monarch. Known for his icy powers and cunning strategies, Sillad posed a significant threat to JinWoo and humanity. Sillad was a cocky and condescending individual who disliked unnecessary conflict. He preferred to act strategically, often avoiding direct confrontation unless absolutely necessary. However, when faced with opponents stronger than himself, he tended to panic and act recklessly. This was evident when he urged the other monarchs to help him kill JinWoo, underestimating the risks involved. Despite his arrogance, Sillad had a distaste for senseless violence, as shown when he knocked out humans on Jeju Island instead of slaughtering them. As the monarch of frost, Sillad possessed immense strength, speed, and durability, making him one of the most formidable opponents JinWoo ever faced. His ice breath attack allowed him to unleash torrents of ice capable of freezing anything in its path, though this attack could be negated if his mouth was blocked. Sillad's ice magic was incredibly versatile. He could create massive waves of ice, shape it into weapons, summon ice monsters, and even generate enormous ice storms. In his spiritual body manifestation, Sillad transformed into a more youthful and powerful form, with longer, flame-like hair and elf-like ears. This form enhanced his abilities, allowing him to push JinWoo to his limits during their battle. Additionally, Sillad could induce sleep in ordinary humans with a simple snap of his fingers, showcasing his mastery over frost and cold. Sillad's downfall began when he ambushed Gunhee, one of the ruler's vessels, and killed him in his office. However, JinWoo tracked Sillad down and forced him to retreat using Shadow Exchange. Realizing the threat JinWoo posed, Sillad rallied the other monarchs to eliminate him. During the battle in Seoul, Sillad, alongside Rakan and Querehsha, fought JinWoo. Despite his efforts, Sillad was unable to defeat JinWoo, especially after the Shadow Monarch's true power awakened. In a desperate attempt to win, Sillad summoned a massive ice storm and even severed Il-Hwan's arm. However, Baru destroyed his ice meteor, and JinWoo, now fully awakened, effortlessly countered Sillad's attacks. In the end, JinWoo slashed Sillad across the chest, causing his body to dissolve into shards of light. Tarnak, the king of monstrous humanoids and the monarch of Iron Body. Tall, muscular, and charismatic, he stood out not just for his appearance. His white coat with a blood-red collar, golden shoulder pads, and piercing green eyes revealed a warrior with immense pride. When using his powers or agitated, his eyes glowed with a toxic lime-green light. Tarnak's personality was a mix of arrogance and cold calculation. He viewed humans as inferior beings and dismissed JinWoo as unworthy of becoming the next Shadow Monarch simply because he was human. Yet, despite his overwhelming pride, Tarnak was smart enough to recognize that he stood no chance against JinWoo without Antares' help. His willpower was exceptional. He was the only disciple of Amit who survived the hellish training regime. Tarnak possessed a fearsome set of abilities. He could communicate telepathically with the other monarchs, open gates, utilize the Iron Body technique, and transform into a monstrous golem covered in dark armor with blazing green hair. His physical power and defense were overwhelming. Blinded by rage, Tarnak unleashed his full power through his spiritual body manifestation and launched a desperate assault against Thomas, Bellion, and Baru. But despite his strength, he was no match for the combined might of his opponents. Overwhelmed and outnumbered, Tarnak was swiftly defeated in the battle, falling before he could even reach Antares for help. His death marked yet another crushing blow to the monarch's forces in the war against humanity. Antares, the monarch of destruction and king of dragons, was the strongest and oldest of the 9 monarchs. As the final antagonist of solo leveling, Antares represented the pinnacle of power and destruction, posing the greatest challenge to sungjinwoo. Antares was a confident and casual individual, rarely losing his composure due to his immense strength. He reveled in destruction and had a disdainful attitude toward humanity, viewing them as insignificant. However, he also had a sense of honor and was willing to negotiate with those who impressed him in battle, as seen when he offered JinWoo a truce in exchange for an alliance against the rulers. Despite his bloodthirsty nature, Antares cared for his minions and despised those who exploited them. He also believed in blood purity, showing no respect for dragons of mixed heritage. His arrogance and confidence in his own power ultimately led to his downfall as he underestimated JinWoo's strategic brilliance. As the monarch of destruction, Antares was unmatched in strength, with only Ashborn rivaling him. His immeasurable strength allowed him to overpower JinWoo during their first battle, and his immeasurable speed enabled him to keep up with JinWoo's movements effortlessly. Antares' immense durability made him nearly immune to physical attacks, forcing JinWoo to use unconventional tactics to harm him. Antares' breath of destruction was one of his most devastating abilities, capable of reducing S-rank hunters to ash and negating most of JinWoo's attacks. He was also a master of fire magic, creating massive explosions with ease. In his spiritual body manifestation, Antares transformed into a colossal red dragon, or a human-dragon hybrid, further enhancing his already overwhelming power. Additionally, Antares could communicate telepathically with other monarchs and use Dragon's Fear, a mana-infused shout that instilled despair and panic in weaker beings. Antares descended into the human world through a massive gate in Canada, unleashing his army of dragons and causing widespread destruction. When JinWoo finally confronted him, Antares was initially confident, believing that even the Shadow Monarch couldn't defeat him. However, JinWoo's strategic brilliance and the awakening of his true power turned the tide of the battle. During their fight, Antares offered JinWoo a truce, proposing an alliance against the rulers. However, JinWoo refused, mocking Antares for his arrogance. In a moment of carelessness, Antares left himself open, allowing JinWoo to slice him nearly in half using his father's dagger. Realizing he had been outmaneuvered, Antares acknowledged his defeat as the rulers descended and finished him off. Subscribe if you enjoyed the video.